everyone, and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the MAFEX, the Dark Knight Trilogy 6-inch scale Batpod. Alright everyone, the box, as you can see, is very similar to all the other MAFEX action figure boxes with the black and blue theme for the Dark Knight Trilogy figures. It says that this is the number 8 entry into the MAFEX line, and it also says Batpod, vehicle for MAFEX Batman series. At the bottom right, it says Medicom toy and then DC Comics, and then of course an image there on the left of the Batman and Batpod MAFEX items. The side of the box says the Dark Knight Trilogy and then has another image of the MAFEX Batman and Batpod. Opposite side shows us just the Batpod by itself. And at the back we have a look at the Batpod along with the Batman figure. There's some information here on the back indicating different ways you can position the Batpod, things you can do with it, more looks at the figure on top of it, and some of this is in Japanese, so I apologize, but I cannot read Japanese, not yet anyway. And yeah, pretty cool. At the very bottom, basically it says Dark Knight Trilogy, MAFEX Batpod number 8, gives you all your warnings, says ages 15 plus, so not for little kids. And give you a look here at the top, and looks pretty good. All right, you guys, so here we have MAFEX's Batpod vehicle. This is the first MAFEX vehicle that they have done. And this one, of course, ties into the Dark Knight trilogy as seen in both The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. As you can see from all angles, they did a really nice job replicating the look of the vehicle as seen in the film, and I really like what they did here. I think it looks aesthetically accurate, and the paint and detail is very nicely accomplished. As we get through the review, I'll show you the parts of the Batpod in closer detail, and then in a subsequent review, we will actually compare this one to the Mattel 6-inch scale Movie Masters Batpod that they did several years back. The Batpod is meant to interact with both the MAFEX Batman as well as the MAFEX Selina Kyle. Just give you an up-close look here at the front of the vehicle, and it looks very nice. I like that the tires certainly feel like rubber as you would get on a real vehicle. Just look really nice. They're not perfect. Like you can see there's a little bit of what looks to be maybe scratching or rubbing or wear, but I actually like that. I'm pretty sure that's deliberate, and it does make it look more like a real tire. Like you're never going to see a brand new tire that's like 100% flawless, I don't think. So I think this does a really nice job of replicating that sort of look. The cannons there are very nice. They have a metallic paint scheme to them. Now, interestingly, they did make it so that you can pull out these little machine gun tips or whatever these might be. And I really don't like that because I don't see the point in it, first of all. But second, if it just comes out, this is such a small piece, you're going to lose it. So I really don't like that they incorporated that. In fact, I've already misplaced the one that goes on the right side for that reason. So hopefully it's around here somewhere. I just had it, so gonna have to look for that. But yeah, there's a reason enough right there why they shouldn't have done that. If you look at it from the front, you can see that there's these really nice little LEDs that aren't actually LEDs because they don't light up. You get these little clear plastic bits right there that could have lit up. I mean, for the asking price on this, these MSRP at $100, they should have given it some lights. They really should have, because this is just a few little plastic parts and some rubber pieces. And I think lights on there would have really sweetened the deal, but there's no lights to be found. Looking up here, you get the arm guards right there. Nice metallic coloration to them. You got the handlebars right there with the brakes, and that looks pretty good. I mean, it's very bendy, and things like this are probably meant to be bendy because they're supposed to look like wires, but the plastic itself is a little bit bendy as well, which I'm not a huge fan of. This detail up here looks very nice, very metallic look to it. This is where Batman rests his torso, and that looks nice. You get these knee pedals right there where he rests his knees. And then this longer bar piece that connects to the back of the Batpod. And then, of course, you get the leg or foot resting pedals here at the back. And those look pretty nice. Some pretty nice metallic detail on that one. This one is a little bit different in terms of the overall aesthetic, but I do like it. I think it looks pretty cool. And there is an attachment piece here where you can attach Batman's EMP rifle that comes with the Batman figure by MAFEX. And there's a little piece that's clipped on here already, and you'll see it has a peg. Basically all you got to do is just peg it into that little socket right there, and you can rotate it around if you want. And I just think that's a really nice touch, because that's where you had it connected in The Dark Knight Rises. And back tire over here, same as the front. It has some pretty nice detail to it, where it does look a little bit worn, and you see a little bit of imperfection in it, but it feels very nice rubber look. The bolts have a very nice metallic look to them, and just overall the aesthetic here is very nicely done. But again, I really wish that it would be a little bit more sturdy, and that those little chin guns wouldn't come out, because that is really annoying how they come out so easily. Some LEDs would have been cool once again, or some extra little features should have been built into this. I think would have made it just super awesome, like little pop-out grappling guns up here like he had in the film, where they just kind of shot out before he took down the Joker who was driving the semi-truck. But that just wasn't meant to be. Maybe even some sounds would have been okay. But that's basically all you're getting with the Batpod. Of course, you can roll the tires if you want. They roll pretty nicely, and you can just kind of have it going across like that. And if you want to get your Batman figures, once again, this will fit the regular Batman figure, either the 1.0 or the 2.0, and it will also fit your Catwoman figure. Now, the Batpod does come packed with 2 hands, and these are meant for Batman. These are so that you can plug them into Batman's arms and have him riding the Batpod. So these are specialized hands for the Batpod. You can see it's got the 2 extended fingers so that he can grab onto the controls. Now, the Catwoman figure actually comes with them as well, but if you saw my review on the Selena Kyle figure, you know that it's almost impossible to get those hands out, and both of the hands broke on my previous review, so I'm not even going to attempt it on this replacement that I got. But we'll try it with Batman, because he seems to be a little bit more durable all around. So we'll just take our figure, just gently wiggle them out, and then we'll go and place the other hand in there. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Now we got to get through the other hand. Pull that out. And now plug this one in. And there we go. Cool, we got it. So definitely a lot easier to do that on Batman than on Catwoman. So next thing you want to do is position Batman in a way that, these are terrible, that will enable him to fit on top of the Batpod. So of course we want to have him looking up as best we can. And then we'll go ahead and position him just so that we can get him to fit on there without any problems. And now this is tricky, just kind of situating him on here so that he can, look natural. It's a little bit tricky to get it dialed in just right, because there's just so much wiring and stuff going on up here. So kind of just want to play with it a little bit until you can get him in there. And as you can see, these are kind of bendy, so it's kind of hard to do that. And there we go. You can see that I have his hands both gripped onto the little handbars. And I know this is a little hard for me to demonstrate here for you, because it's just kind of a weird sort of amalgamation of black parts, kind of interacting with each other. But yeah, he's got both of his hands on the handlebars. And you can see his fingers are just kind of resting right there on the brakes. And it looks pretty good. And you do gotta play with it a little bit in order to get him on there properly. But you can see I have his feet on both of the pedals, and he seems to be comfortably resting on the Batpod for the most part. It is a bit tricky, but once you get it on there, I think the aesthetic is pretty nice. And you can see right there that it does look quite dynamic. Really like the way that this looks. And of course, one of the best things about the Batman figure is that he has a posable cape. That way you can make it look like he's actually traveling on the Batpod. And I think that's just super, super cool. And he already fell off, kind of. Yeah, this looks great. I mean, it doesn't have a very good center of gravity, especially once you get the figure on there. You can see that it kind of wobbles a little bit. And it's even kind of leaning right there. So that's a little bit annoying, but I mean, it looks good. And I guess as long as you get this positioned on your shelf just right, hopefully you're not going to have too many problems with it. Now, if you want to get your Selena Kyle figure on there, you can do it. She's not as good a fit for the Batpod as Batman is. She's just a little bit harder to pose. And since I'm not putting the correct hands on her for riding the Batpod, you can see that I kind of just winged it a little bit and just kind of made it look like she's piloting them. But it just doesn't work all that well. Not to mention the fact that she doesn't look up quite as much as Batman does. So it doesn't look quite as good, in my opinion. I mean, it looks decent. This is definitely better than the aesthetic you would get from the Mattel Batpod and having one of the Mattel 6-inch figures on their Batpod, but it's still not perfect. I think that, this should look a little bit better than it does. It does look pretty good, but I think that, at this price point, you kind of do want to expect perfection on there, and we're simply not getting it 100% with this. It's just a little bit awkward of a fit, but it's passable at the very least. Meow. Now, one last thing that you get with this set is this little plastic piece right here, and it seems like it's meant to interact with the stand that you get with the other MAFEX figures, which is quite simply the base, and then you have an arm here that can be positioned, and then a little hook up here for grabbing onto the figures. It's a little stiff. Just pull it out, I guess, and there is a socket in there, so I think you can just kind of plug it in. Oh, well, first you got to remove this part right there. It's a 2-piece thing, and then you can plug it in like that, and I guess you can put the Batpod on it. I don't really know, but let's try and see what we can do with this. So maybe like this, and then put the Batpod on it. I'm really not sure what this is supposed to do. It's just kind of a weird little extra piece to include without any instructions on what it's for. So maybe it's just to kind of balance it so it looks like it's flying. I don't know. It just seems all kind of ridiculous how they wouldn't include some sort of write-up on what this is for in here, because I mean, obviously it seems like it's meant to interact with this base. I mean, that's what it looks like to me anyway. I'm just not seeing what it's supposed to do. I mean, there's nothing underneath the Batpod that looks like an obvious connection to that. I mean, I can kind of see like if they would have not included this and you have that peg right there, if they would have put like a little hole under there and then you could just plug it in. Okay, I could see that, but I'm not really seeing what we're supposed to do with this. Maybe we can try and grab that right there. That's a pretty good fit underneath the Batpod. Maybe we do that and then we pull this part out of the base and we connect it like that. Could that be what I'm supposed to be doing? No, because that doesn't even fit. Does it? No. Maybe upside down? No. Huh. This is just very weird. I mean, this does seem like, I'm pretty confident that that's supposed to fit in there like that, but it's not really fitting in. Maybe we're just supposed to kind of go like that, and then like that, and then place the Batpod on it. Could that be? I mean, I guess. I mean, it's not very stable. Or maybe I don't even need that at all. Maybe I just need this piece right here. Right? Like that? Oh, I don't know. There's a hole there now, so I don't know what the intent is, you guys. I mean, looking here at the instructions, this is just pretty lame because, I mean, they show you how to attach your Batman figure on there. They tell you how to put the hands on, how to position him, and then down here shows you how to connect the EMP blaster, but there's nothing that indicates what to do with this little plastic piece. Wow, this is a pretty epic fail on MAFEX's part. I guess I'm just gonna have to play with that a little bit and see if I can figure it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Medicom MAFEX, the Dark Knight Trilogy Batpod. All in all, you guys, I am pretty disappointed in this. And it's not the Batpod itself. I think the Batpod itself is actually, decent enough. But I think for the asking price of $100, that's just a little bit far out and pretty ridiculous. Luckily, I was able to snag it for around $71 on Amazon, but even then, this just seems really expensive for what you're actually getting. I mean, the fact that, you can put your figures on there and they look pretty good, that's cool, but chin guns falling out easily and a plastic piece that you can't really figure out how to use. Maybe I'm just not doing it right, which I'm probably not doing it right, quite obviously, but just seems it's a little bit more tedious than it really should be. I mean, I really like the aesthetic. I think it looks very nice. I like the rubber tires. I think those are great. All around, it looks very nice. It certainly looks very nice, and there's no disputing the aesthetics of this thing. And I really like how you can attach the EMP gun right there. But getting the figure on there is a little bit harder than I would personally like. And I don't know, I just think the execution should have been a little bit better for the asking price. Maybe some lights that would come on or some sounds, anything really to beef this up, because as it is, you're paying $100 for a small piece of plastic that probably doesn't even weigh half a pound. So that's a little disappointing in my opinion. I don't know. I just think I'm done with MAFEX. I mean, they got a really awesome looking line of Star Wars figures coming out later this year. Not to mention the Star Wars figures they already have out now, which I don't own any of. I really want to get their Kylo Ren they have coming later for the Force Awakens collection. And of course, they got Batman vs. Superman, which also look really awesome. But I'm just not feeling MAFEX. The quality control is just not there. Figures that fall apart easily and break easily, and then a Batpod that they're charging you an exorbitant amount of money for. That's just not quite there quality-wise. I'm done with the MAFEX line, and I just can't support it, and I can't really recommend that you support it unless you plan to just buy their figures and, just stand them on a shelf and never really handle them again, basically, because they're gonna break. I mean, if you get any of the Dark Knight figures, they're going to break. I mean, there's just no way around it. And that's really sad to say, because these are not cheap, and you really expect a higher level of execution when it comes to things like this. On a scale of 1 to 10, I think I'm going to go ahead and give the MAFEX Batpod a 3. Guys, the price is just too expensive for what you're getting. It's as simple as that. If you really want the Batpod, it's a nice looking piece at least, and having the Batman figure on there looks really cool, but of course, Mattel did offer their own Batpod a few years back. If you have that one, I would say just stick with that one. We are going to be comparing the two in an upcoming video, but for now, don't pay $100 for this. I really can't recommend that you pay any more than $15. Even then, that's kind of being a little bit generous. I just think that this is way overpriced for what you're actually getting, and the execution just isn't as good as it should have been. All right, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, then I do encourage you to please like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the Batpod, whether or not you're planning on picking it up. Be sure and follow me on Facebook and Twitter for the latest news and updates. And as always, I want to thank you for watching Victoria's Cantina. Till next time, my friends. Bye-bye.